Hi, my name is Tony. I'm with Advantage Lifts. Today we're going to be installing a two-post. It's a 10,000-pound asymmetric lift. So you've seen it all packaged up. First thing you want to do is kind of get everything off of the packing crate and set on the floor close to where you're going to be putting it together. A handy tool, once again, to help you with this project would be go to any local rental store and rent one of these Genie material handling lifts. It handles the weight of these beams. It makes it a whole lot easier on your back. So you want to place where you want to put this two-post in your garage. If you're going to be at the very front of the garage and you've got a 2-foot workbench at the front, you want to be able to work in front of there and be in front of your car, you want to be anywhere from 12 to 13 feet from the wall to start your post. Today we're setting ours 10 feet away from the wall because we don't have a bench out in front. So before we stand these up, there's a couple of things you can do to pre-assemble this to make it a little easier than standing on the ladder to do it. You have a crossbar. This is the clear floor model, so you have a crossbar that's going to be crossing at the top at 12 foot. You have a bracket over here that mounts to the top of the carriage, and you'll want to go ahead and put that on with your 4 bolts, get that all on, bolted up tight before you stand them up. It just makes it easier once you get them up in the ground, up in the air. Now we're ready to lift this up with the assist of our Genie. We've got it setting on some boards, and we'll just crank this up and walk it forward, and that'll stand our post right up.
I just didn't know if you wanted me to lift it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And come under it?
Yep. Yeah. And just like that, we have them standing. Okay, now we've got our post stood up. We have used a square to get our column square with where we're sitting in the garage. We're at the distance we need to be away from the wall. And so at this point, this is the power unit post. So we're going to go ahead, we've drilled the holes, and we're anchoring this one in place. And you'll want to drill with a hammer drill with a 3/4 inch bit, and you'll want to have a shop vac available, because when you do the drilling, it's much easier to vacuum the dust out, the concrete dust, as you're drilling, then you don't have a big mess on your floor, plus your hole will not be full of dust. And you want to at least drill 4 to 5 inches in the hole, or drill all the way through the concrete. Then whenever you're done with the lift or you want to move it, all you have to do is pound these into the sand below. Okay, when you use these anchors, you have a nail that goes in the top. So you take your nail, your nut flush with the top of the bolt, put your nail in it, and then get a sledgehammer, heavy enough hammer that you're going to drive this nail down in, and that will create the swedge starting to happen at the bottom of the bolt. But this nail will go down flush to the top of the bolt. Then you can tighten up your outside nut here. You want to torque that to 120 pounds. And so at this point, we're going to go ahead and plumb it. We're going to have a level. We're going to make sure that we're level front and back and side to side. You should have some shims inside your package to be able to shim that all up, and go ahead and torque this one down to your 120 pounds. This one will be set. Now, another thing you want to know, this, like I said a second ago, is the power unit 1. This is going to be on the right side of the lift. So meaning, if I'm driving the car in this direction, it's on the right side. The reason for that, most shops do this, because when I drive my car in, I get out on the left side. I can set my arms at this point. I'll walk around the car, and I come to this side, set my arms. Now I can get up and just push the button without having to walk back around to the other side of the post. So a lot of times people like it on the right-hand side of the post. Now there's a little bit of pre-assembly you want to do on this crossbar before you get it up on top and have to work off of a ladder. you have your micro switch here that operates, so there's 2 bolts and a bracket. So you're going to put them on and then put your bar in. And the way this micro switch works is when the car comes up, this is upside down, car comes up, it pushes this, trips the switch, shuts the power off, you won't smash the top of the car to the crossbar. On the other end of this, there's a bolt, goes up from underneath, and you put the nut on the outside, and you got a plastic sleeve here that holds this as a gap between the pipe and the cross arm, and that will just hang, and you'll see when it's up on top how that all operates. But it's easier to do it now than on a ladder. So now we put it on here, we're going to raise it up and attach that to our top of our crossbar. Okay, that post is, the other side is the one that we've got anchored down. This one is not anchored at this point. I'm putting the top piece on. We're not tightening it up. All we're doing is just putting the bolts in it to line it up so we know the distance of it. Just like so. We'll just put the nuts on the back side of it just to snug them up. Now we'll come to this post, we'll get it plumbed, get it squared, anchor it in, and then we'll know our bar's in the right spot to where we need to be. We want to be from outside of base plate to outside of base plate 135 1/4 inches, which right now we're setting at 135. So I need to bump that out just a touch at the bottom here, 1/4 inch, so that we're on our mark. So now we're 135 1/4 from outside of base plate to outside of base plate. We're square. Now we're going to drill our 6 holes and anchor this one down solid and plumb it to make sure it is level as well. See you in a minute. Okay, now we're at the time we're going to assemble our lock to the post, and this is something to do with a pin. You'll need a snap ring pliers. We're going to put the pin with the snap ring and a washer, insert this in. We're going to spacer with a washer, then the lock. You see it? There you go. Okay. Now we're going to go with another washer. All right, so washer, washer, lock, your release, washer, and then we're going to go with the spring. And the spring is going to hook around this side and then go around the shaft, and then this is our tension part that will pull and set down on this bottom side. So I need an assist on this. Oh wait, I got to put it on first, I'm sorry. So he's going to hold it in place, and then I'm going to take this and just bend it around, just like so. And then we have a washer and the snap ring. Like so. And now the way you know it works is if I pull down on this, the lock opens. When I let go, the lock closes. That's the way you want that, is so when the carriage goes up, it's going to ratchet like this. And then when we hook the cables all up, you'll see in a minute, this will pull open. That's how we're going to open up our locks to release it for it to go down. Okay. Now, let me go ahead and talk. On the top, we've got 2 pulleys we're going to put on here for our cable to run. And then on the top of this column, we have a bracket that's going to mount like this to our 2 holes up at the top of the column. And this is a wheel that the top of our cable runs on as well as the 2 go here. My assistant will run up there and hook that up. Okay, so what we're going to do at this point is we're attaching this cable to this bolt that's sticking out. There's a looped end. You're going to attach that over the outside. You're going to go around this pulley underneath of it, and it's going to go up, and you'll see at the top there's a pulley at the very top of the column. It goes around that, follows across over here where my assistant is. He's hooking it to the top of the other pulley, and then it's routing down the inside of the column on this side. Okay, now we have routed our cable through to this column. We put on our pulley down here at the bottom. So what we're going to do is put this around the pulley. We're going to open up our lock, bring our loop to this bolt. This has an adjustment here, so you will run your cable through and then get your adjustment to where the lock is you just get the tension to where it's up against the column, and then you'll tighten this up. You're going to have excess cable. Take a pair of dikes, cut off a piece here. The only time you might need to adjust it after a while will be tightening it. So leave you about 6 inches of cable when you cut it for extra. But this will now, I'll walk over and open the locks and you'll see how this activates this. You can stay right there. Okay. So when I pull the locks open on this side, that disengages that side as well. When I let go, they go all the way back and locks. That's the way you want the lock to set.